Roddy, do you want to take it away and do those introductions?
Alrighty, let's do it. I think you're at the left bottom side, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Cool. Over here on the left bottom side of the map, we have our awesome Canadian Zerg player who has a very big weekend in front of her. It is, of course, Ace's very own Scarlett. And the weekend I'm referring to is, of course, the WCS America Finals that are coming up. I hope all of you will be tuning in on Saturday and Sunday. Scarlett, her first match will be against Hart. But for now, she's going to go up against one of the absolute strongest European Zergs we have. Perhaps the strongest, as him and Vortex have been in a close battle for that title. It is, of course, Liquid's very own Snute. Snute. I love Jens. I look forward to seeing Jens again. I'm pretty sure he's going to be at the Home Story Cup, as he has such a successful track record in Take's apartment. They should just rename it to the Snute Cup. If it wasn't for this weird guy called Tasia, I think Snute would have had like 3 championships by now.
Well, Snute, of course, is taking a bit of a break at the moment. This is his last big thing. I think he is. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to Home Story Cup because he, of course, put up that blog a little while ago.
I can't imagine a Home Story Cup without Snute. No. It just doesn't feel right to me, Medals.
Also, I personally don't think that like a Home Story Cup is a stressful event for Snute. It's a lot more chilled. It's not like he's going there with all the pressure on him. And I saw him at DreamHack Stockholm a couple of weeks or last week, and he wasn't the calmest person before going in there. He was nice and chill, but you could just tell under the surface that he was a little bit apprehensive about it. Obviously, the pressure of potentially BlizzCon and stuff like that. So I think it's going to do him a lot of good having a little bit of downtime. But yeah, Scarlett, she's still got a lot of pressure on her. What do you reckon it's going to be like in NA?
I think she has a very, very tough match in front of her. I mean, Hart is an absolute god when it comes to Terran versus Zerg, so it's a very tough draw for Scarlett, but she has surprised us so many times in the past, and I know that she can do it. I think it's a huge weekend. I also think it's, Scarlett definitely didn't have a poor year, but it's also not been the super successful year that perhaps some people expected after the strong 2013 that she had. So there is still a lot for her to gain. Of course, potentially still BlizzCon as well. If she would go all the way, that would be one hell of a fairy tale story. But this is definitely a nice test for her to see how she's doing. And, playing these games cross-server can definitely be very difficult against such a strong player like Snute. But Scarlett has shown us in the past that is nothing that will slow her down. So we'll see. The openings were a little different, as I believe Scarlett got the slightly more economic opening. But that shouldn't really determine the outcome of this game.
At the moment, we've got speed, obviously, on both sides coming on through. In terms of the gas count, gas staying on both sides as well. So, very little in terms of differences at the moment in this game. Really, it's just Snute getting marginally more information with those first 2 lings. Although Scarlett does have a couple of overlords here. May kind of try and edge forward a little bit. We'll wait and see. But Baneling Nest coming down from Snute. That's pretty much the biggest difference we've got between these two at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Scarlett is going to get her own Baneling Nest in just a couple of seconds. It feels like a defensive Baneling Nest. I don't think we're going to see a very aggressive Snute over here. I know that he likes to poke every now and then and just see what he is able to do with a few Lings and Banes, but it is a huge investment, as anything is in ZvZ in this phase in the game. And if you don't want to go all out, it's better to just not start with it immediately and just save your money and gas for the roaches, which we all know that Snute loves and adores.
Now, there was a little scout there from Scarlett, able to see the Baneling Nest come down. Doesn't know whether it's defensive or aggressive yet, so just throws down a spine in case. Note there's no Baneling Nest from Scarlett though. Actually investing quite a few Lings here.
I am surprised because that is risky. That is a little risky. That's playing with fire regardless in ZvZ. Snute is making 16 Zerglings now. Are you still here, by the way? Because my Skype is changing.
Yep, I'm still here. It should all be fine.
It's just a random Skype advertisement. Anyway, I was worried that I was cutting off. Anyways, there are 12 Lings on the way for Snute. Scarlett, of course, made her 10 or so Zerglings. She's gonna put on some fake pressure. I like this kind of stuff. It's like, hey, I'm keeping you at bay. You should worry about stuff I'm doing. But actually, Scarlett is the one that is worrying, and she's very well aware of that. Her Roach one is going down though. If she's able to cancel this hatchery, that would be a great pickup. But I think Snute is able to save it. No, he's not. Okay, that is a nice little pickup for Scarlett, not bad at all.
In terms of overall losses, 12 Lings went down. Scarlett hasn't started her own third yet, so it was a lot of Lings to lose to prevent that third. It'll be interesting to see what she does from here. Is going to have that complete wall off with those 2 additional evolution, the Roach one and Evolution Chamber coming down on the Queens there. But there's a lot of lings here for Snute. Shouldn't be able to punch through though. Just pulls away. A few more baitings morphing.
This definitely shaped up quite okay for Scarlett, and yeah, I don't really understand these paints, because like I said before, either you go all out or you just don't do it at all. If you take a look at the income tab, I'm not sure if your overlay always shows that, but it's 46 drones for Scarlett against the 36 of Snute. Now it's 40 for Snute, but C has been outmining Snute for quite a bit. These Bailings are actually going to bust in, and that's actually a reasonable bust there, as this Spinecrawler will fall immediately, but the Queens and the few Roaches should still be enough. As long as Scarlett, the Roaches are not in hold position on the ramp. So this is all frustrating. This is definitely going to slow her down a little bit. But I still think it's definitely stuff he can bounce back from, as long as he doesn't lose too many drones over here.
Couple more drones getting picked off. Snute is now up in the drone count. He had a big wave of drones coming down behind this. He was also able to pick off 2 of the Queens. So Scarlett is missing an inject until that's completed. The other nice thing for Snute is his third's finished as Scarlett starts. So economically, while Scarlett did have a period of time she was ahead, if Snute's able to rebuff this Roach move out from Scarlett now, I think economically, long term, he's fine.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to correct myself. I was questioning those 3 additional Bailings, but that definitely made the difference. He was able to just bust through immediately. I do think this would have been slightly better for Scarlett if she had Roaches on hold position at the ramp. She's going to try to counterattack, but Snute has been producing Roaches all along. So I actually think Scarlett has to be very careful here. She's going to sacrifice her Roaches for the greater good. And the greater good in this case is a handful of drones. I'm not sure if that was completely worth it, losing... Okay, she's had a few more Roaches streaming across the map, actually. Now it might still work out for her. It's already a very entertaining close ZvZ between these 2 excellent players.
Snute's losing quite a few drones here. Scarlett just going out for the workers as it stands, knowing that Snute will have the defensive advantage. 8 drones killed. Nice little pick-off, means that Snute is down in the worker count, but remember, he's still got that 3rd base up, whereas Scarlett's isn't yet finished, so he's going to be able to quickly remake those. In terms of the Roach numbers as well, it's 18-8 in Snute's favour at the moment. Both are tied in upgrades, although Scarlett does have the +1 carapace coming through, although that's... +1 carapace isn't hugely influential in Roach-on-Roach fights. No, but by the time that it will be like 2-2 Roaches against 2-0, then it would make a massive difference if that would ever happen. So of course, you know, the fact that Scarlett is working off double evolution chamber as Snute was working off a single one for the longest time. His second one just finished up, so he can start his own carapace now. That is pretty important to mention, so I'm glad that you brought it up. Overall, it's still very close. I mean, look at the supply. 109 against 110, worker-wise, 61 against 54. But that difference, 61-54, is not as huge as the difference between, let's say, you know, 39 or 32. This is something that, if both players max out, it could even be in the favor of Scarlett, especially because she should have that armor upgrade a little bit quicker than her opponent. So, cool stuff. Kind of what we expected, I think, right? You know, 2 of the best foreign Zergs going up against each other. Nice use of Contaminate as well. Still an underused ability, if you ask me. It's definitely underused, and I think seeing these top-tier Zergs go for those odd little Contaminates, it starts actually adding up quite a lot. Did hit on the Carapace upgrade, and this is really allowing Scarlett to get a bigger window where she's going to be at 2-2 compared to Snute being at 2-0, which will start making a big difference, especially now we've got the Hydra Den coming through from Scarlett. And this is something that I was kind of waiting for, looking for, is what kind of tech transition we were going for. Snute isn't looking to transition though. He's just pumping out as many Roaches as Zergly possible and is wanting to just push out maxed. What I wonder about if Scarlett is going to produce Hydras, like, well, she is apparently, because he starts doing it immediately. Because sometimes you see Zerg players add a Hydralist then, but they will still just try to max out one time on the Roaches, especially if they feel they can get an upgrade in the Roach Wars, one way or the other, either having a few less drones, a few more Roaches, better engagement, or better upgrades. Scarlett had those things going for herself, so I wouldn't have disliked the fact if she would have gone all out on the Roaches, but of course, you know, if you can have Roach Hydra, and your Hydras are in a good position and they are well protected, then there is no reason not to do it. Snute, in the other end, is indeed a Zerg player that likes to just go nuts on the Roaches, at least for a while. I'm not sure if I'm digging this engagement of Snute though. He's down in upgrades, and no, I'm not digging this engagement at all. He's not got all of his Roaches over. He does have more Roaches on the map, but they're not all engaged in this fight. The Hydralist for Scarlett dishing out a good bit of damage, but with the Queens coming over as well, that's just really swinging things in the Ace of Zerg's favour, and Snute is forced to retreat away from this. Doesn't take a nice fight. Ends up losing significantly more Roaches than Scarlett has, 53 to 37. And all in all, if we look at the resources lost, that heavily swings things into Scarlett's favour, who's also up in the drone count as well. So better income and losing less. generally makes you a very happy player.
Yep, that was an excellent hold there for Scarlett. Snute trying to hit a minor window where, because of course it's always a little easier to max out on roaches than when you go for roach hydras. Hydras are more expensive and stuff, but Scarlett had enough there. She had excellent position on top of the ramps. She brought over the queens as well, like you mentioned, very important. A couple of transfuses really make the difference, can neglect a lot of damage or completely nullify a lot of damage from a bunch of roaches. Still, attacking with hydras is always a little tricky, because that means that most of the time they will be a little bit more exposed, especially if your opponent is maxing out on roaches, or, as we see right now, is also adding in bailing speed. Perhaps another big engagement over here in the middle of the map.
Snute's gone in a nice position here. He's able to completely cut the army in half of Scarlett, taking quite a nice trade, also flanking in from behind. This is trapping Scarlett's roaches, but just in sheer numbers, Scarlett is in a strong position here, able to force Snute back, now sitting at 42 roaches for Scarlett to 27 of Snute. Bit of a rough position, it's also 2-2 compared to 2-1. And
really
Snute,
funny army movement over here.
Yep.
It's like Ring Around the Rosie, as both armies were just circling in circles. But Scarlett with a massive army supply advantage, like you said. And above all, she has that fort base going down in the right bottom side of the map. She still has her upgrade advantage as well. That +2 armor really helped out quite a bit. A couple of her roaches are not fighting now at the left bottom side of this screen, but I still think this is going to be okay for her. She just has more. It's a numbers game and it's in her favor.
she's pushing through really nicely here. Snute is tumbling an army supply, knows he's not going to be able to level that out, and GG's game number 1 goes to Scarlett.